You know, in Japan, what happens after we die, it usually feels like a settled question. Or at least it used to be. Right now, for a growing number of people, that answer is at the center of a huge dilemma. We're talking ancient faith clashing head-on with modern tradition. So let's get into Japan's unfolding burial crisis. Okay, just look at this number, 99.9%. I mean, that's a huge figure, right? Well, that is the cremation rate in Japan. For more than a century, it's just been the way things are done. It's not even a question, it's just the norm, completely woven into the fabric of society. So what's causing all the fuss? It's this practice right here, doso, which is just direct burial, putting a body in the earth without cremation. Now, it's not illegal or anything, but for generations, it's been seen as a thing of the past. Cremation is just seen as more efficient. But here's the thing, for some people, it's not a choice. All right, so here's how we're gonna break this down. First, we'll look at why this is such a big deal, a sacred obligation for some. Then, we'll get into the very real concerns from local communities. After that, we'll dive into the bigger clash of values at play here. And finally, we'll wrap up with the huge question this leaves for Japan's future. Okay, so a growing dilemma. What's really driving all of this? Well, it all comes down to Japan's changing demographics. See, as Japan brings in more foreign workers, it's also bringing in new cultures and new religious needs, and some of those are starting to bump up against traditions that have been around forever. And here's the core of it, really. Japan needs foreign workers, right, to help with labor shortages. Because of that, its Muslim population has grown to well over 200,000 people. And with that growth comes a really urgent need for proper burial sites. It's a fundamental part of their religion, and it goes completely against the way Japan has done things for so long. Right, so let's talk about that religious side of things, a sacred obligation. Because to really get what's at stake here, you have to understand this isn't just about finding a plot of land. It's not a preference. For Japan's Muslim community, this is a core part of their faith, a non-negotiable duty. Yeah, and this quote really says it all. The belief is that the body will be resurrected on the day of judgment. So from that perspective, cremation isn't just an alternative, it's a forbidden practice. The body has to be buried. This makes finding a place to do that absolutely essential. So that sacred belief leads to some really tough practical problems. I mean, just try to imagine this. You're grieving a loved one, and you find out there are only about 10 cemeteries in the whole country, the entire country, that allow Muslim burials. In a whole region like Tohoku, zero, none. Your only choices are to spend an absolute fortune shipping the body somewhere else, maybe even back to your home country. For most families, that's just not possible. But of course, this isn't a one-sided story. We have to look at the other perspective. The local Japanese communities where these new cemeteries are being proposed, well, they have some pretty strong objections. And it's really important to understand where they're coming from too. And their concerns are pretty varied. For one, there's a real fear about contaminating the local water supply. Totally understandable. Then there's the land issue. Japan is a crowded place, and people worry about permanently taking up precious space. But it goes deeper than that, There's this cultural concept called kegare, which is tied to Shinto beliefs about death being a source of impurity. Cremation is seen as a way to purify, so burial feels, well, different. And on top of all that, there's this feeling of, hey, why does this one group get special treatment? And this quote from Takeda Tsuneyasu really sums up that last point. He's basically saying, look, Japanese Christians also traditionally bury their dead, but they've adapted to cremation over the years. So the question he's asking is, a question of fairness. If one group already compromised for the sake of social harmony, why should a special exception be made now? And here's another important perspective. The commentator Hiroyuki makes the case that cremation isn't just some old custom. He argues it was a modern solution, a smart solution to very real problems of public health and land management that started way back in the Meiji era. So from his point of view, going back to burial isn't about being inclusive, it's about taking a step backward and getting rid of a system that works. So when you boil it all down, you realize this isn't just about land, it's much bigger. It's a fundamental clash of values, a conflict between two totally different ideas about how Japanese society should work. And you can see those two ideas right here. On one hand, you have tabunka kyosei, multicultural coexistence. The argument here is, hey, if Japan needs foreign workers, we have to make it a place where they can live and practice their faith, right? That includes things like burial. But on the other hand, you have that classic proverb, go ni ite wa go ni shitagai, basically, when in Rome, do as the Romans do.
This side says that for society to work smoothly, newcomers should adapt to the existing rules and customs of Japan, not the other way around.
And this idea of coexistence isn't just some abstract ideal. It's got real, practical motivations. Take Miyagi Prefecture. They're facing a massive worker shortage. So the governor there is actually pushing for a public burial site, seeing it as a way to attract workers from places like Indonesia. For him, it's about economic survival.
But critics see this very differently. They say this kind of approach just doesn't work. Creating special rules, using public money for one specific group, they argue that doesn't create harmony. It actually creates resentment. The general public starts to feel like the rules aren't the same for everyone, and that just leads to more social tension. So this isn't just a debate on TV, right? It's happening right now in real communities all over Japan. And it's leading to these standoffs, these unresolved conflicts that are really testing the whole country. It's Japan's big unanswered question. And if you look at what's actually happening on the ground, you see this pattern over and over again. Stalemate. In Hiji, a new mayor got elected specifically because he promised to stop the cemetery plan. Boom, project stalled. In Miyagi, the government's plan got hit with over 1,200 comments from the public, mostly against it. And in Imazu, even after years of trying, the local opposition is just too strong. It's a deadlock. So you see, this whole thing, it's about way more than just burial plots. It's really a test case for the future of Japan. It's forcing the country to ask itself a really hard question about its own identity. Does it double down on the shared norms that have created social harmony for so long? Or does it change those norms to make room for a more globalized society? And really, that's the question we're left with, and there are no easy answers here. How does a society, any society, not just Japan, manage this? How do you balance honoring your own long-held traditions with respecting the deeply held faith of your newest members, the people who are, right now, helping to build your future? That's the challenge Japan is facing head-on today.